Hello, thank you for joining me today for this presentation on AI adoption, where we will be exploring the application of Rogers' diffusion of innovation theory. My name is Dr. Sharifa Simmons. Today, my hair's in a ponytail and I'm wearing a green and cream shirt. I'm excited to share insights on how this theory can help us understand the adoption patterns of AI technologies. So just a little bit about me. My background is in instructional design. My doctorate is in educational technology. More specifically, I examined the self-efficacy of online faculty. One of the theories I used in my research was Rogers' diffusion of innovation theory. This theory explains how people adopt innovation and will help us move our organizations towards accepting the tools that are available to us. So let's get started. So oftentimes people are trying to figure out where they fit in their organizations. So I'd like everyone to go ahead in the chat box. Type 1 if you consider yourself a change agent. Type 2 if you do not consider yourself a change agent. Great. Okay. There's a 2. There's lots of 1s, and so that's absolutely great, because the thing about introducing technology into organizations is you really need to be a change agent. And so I'm going to go through the next couple of slides. I'm going to give you, it is very content heavy. I want to give you a heads up, but we're going to talk about, what is diffusion of innovation. Then we'll talk about AI, and then we'll talk about instructional design. And from there, we'll deep dive into the diffusion of innovation theory. And so without any further ado, so Rogers in 1962 really came up with this theory. It started out in communities that were studying innovation related to communication, and it explained how over time an idea or product gains momentum and diffuses, right? So how quickly it spreads through a population, a social system. And the end result is that the people or the system, the group of people, they adopt a new idea, they change a behavior, or they use a product. So it really, if we're looking at this, we're just looking at adoption. And that just means that the person that adopts it does something different than what they were previously doing. And so the key really behind adoption is that person must perceive the idea, behavior, or product as new or an innovation. And it's only if they view it through that lens that the diffusion is possible. So, simply put, and simple or not, Rogers' definition is diffusion is a process by which innovations are communicated to members within a social system through appropriate channels over a period of time. Okay, if we just kind of keep that, in our mind as we move forward, we're going to learn how that all happens. And so I know I'm sure everybody on this call has heard about AI, and, we know what it is. There's so many different types of AI that's currently available. But generally, AI is just a branch of computer science that aims to create intelligent machines capable of simulating human-like behaviors and decision-making, right? And so there's various techniques, right? And so that includes machine learning, natural process learning, computer visions. And as we're seeing, and has happened traditionally, AI does have the potential to transform many industries. And more specifically, today we're going to talk about education and instructional design. And although an extensive body of literature related to AI exists, this is not the case when we're looking at AI adoption within organizations. And that's really another reason why I'm saying, are you guys change agents, right? Because the research is not there for us to know what we can expect in your organizations. And so it's very broad, and we're just going to, if we're going to kind of sort of condense this and focus on how we're going to look at AI for the purpose of this presentation. AI was considered as machines, that they can think like humans, reason and make decisions. But this perspective has advanced to also include general human level communication and acts. So it can act like a human, okay? And so now, if we look at AI and then we look at instructional design, we know, and if you don't know, I'm here to tell you, that AI has the potential to improve the learning experience by personalizing content, providing instantaneous feedback, and increasing accessibility. I think that we've heard, on LinkedIn at the very least, that, it can be used to quickly analyze enormous amounts of data. And just AI algorithms can really just help. I'm looking at instructional designers, can make them make more informed decisions. And so, if we're talking about ChatGPT, you can use it to provide feedback. I'm thinking about training on this topic. These are my learning objectives. Am I missing something, right? Because AI has been developed to act human-like, you can have conversations with it. And so using that to not replace instructional designers, but using it to be a sounding board can help tremendously. So it has tremendous potential, and it's essential for us to just, while we're using it, to be mindful of privacy concerns, data security, and the inherent biases, and avoid reinforcing inequalities or compromising learners' privacy. That's always paramount. Our organization's privacy, obviously. And so we must just ensure transparency, accountability, and the ethical use of these technologies. So these are just only some of the uses for AI within instructional design. But if you're not able to convince your organization to adopt AI into the approved systems and processes, you'll find yourself window shopping during a great innovative time. So now let's turn our attention to the framework and AI. And so a key element in the diffusion of innovation process is the social system. And the social system is a set of interrelated units that are engaged in a joint problem-solving group to accomplish a common goal. There are three types of individuals within the social system that influence others. And so those are the opinion leaders, the change agents, and the aides. And opinion leaders, that is a person, the opinion leader refers to the degree a person can informally influence other individuals towards their attitudes or behaviors in a way that is desired, and with the desired frequency. And change agents, they attempt to influence a client's innovative decision. And so you get the aides. The aides contacts clients to influence their innovative decisions. So when we're looking at these people, we're focusing really on change agents. And so we're attempting to influence people to do things, be it your manager, depending on your role, be it senior leadership, be it the C-suite, wherever it is that you are and with whom you're interacting with, that is what you're doing. And there are several ways to do that, and we're gonna get to that. And so these are the types of innovative decisions. So I'm not going to read what's on the slide because you probably are, but I just want to break them down just a little bit for you. So the optional innovation decisions, those include factors such as perceived relative advantage, the capability with existing practices, the complexity, the trialability, the observability of AI and how it plays its role in the individual decisions. And so if we're looking at the collective innovation, that decision is based on the collective evaluation of AI potential benefits and the alignment with the organization and the goals of the community. and it includes the consideration for any concerns or challenges that may come up because of the innovation. And so when we're looking at authority innovative decisions, those decisions are influential, and they can significantly impact the adoption or the rejection of any AI technologies. The authority decision makers consider various factors. There are those people in your organization that are considering the strategic goals, resource availability, and the potential impact of AI on the system. And so that is your IT, right? And so if we're looking at the contingent innovation decision makers, if the initial decision was to adopt AI, the contingent decision makers might involve expanding or modifying the AI implementation. If the initial decision was to reject AI, the contingent decision might involve reconsidering and integrating AI adoption based on any new information or circumstances that may occur. And so looking at these different types of innovative decisions highlights the various dynamics, right? And all of these, in some ways, these are sort of cut and dry, but we know just organizationally, depending on where we are, we take on more than one role and what we learn, right? And so sometimes we might not just have the infrastructure. It's not that I don't believe in AI. I don't trust that it will make us run more efficiently. It's just that our infrastructure does not allow that. And so working through those decisions and having those conversations are still very much important. And we'll talk more about why and how that comes into play in a few moments. And so now we're going to just look at, and I warned you, this is very dense, but we're getting there. The 5 characteristics of innovation. So the innovation decision process should be viewed as the information seeking and processing. It should be viewed as an activity. And so you're going to need to look at the advantages and disadvantages, right? Be it AI or anything else that's new that you are recommending to your organization. And, you're going to examine it to determine, what, how, and why it's going to work. So we're going to look at, relative advantage first. And so when you're looking at the relative advantage, you're looking at what AI offers, what those technologies offer, such as increased efficiency, cost reduction, improved decision-making, enhanced customer experience, and the ability to gain a competitive edge. So organizations evaluate how AI can provide them with superior performance or outcomes compared to traditional methods. So what are you doing today versus what can AI do for you tomorrow? When you're looking at the compatibility, that is looking at, is it compatible with not only systems, but your organizational goals and values, right? And resources, which includes, your systems. If there's a high degree of compatibility, then your organization is more likely to believe that AI is a valuable and suitable option for adoption. Then we look at complexity, right? And the powers that be are going to need to evaluate whether they have the necessary technical expertise, skills, and resources to adopt, and most importantly, integrate AI into their operations. The perceived complexity of AI can also influence the adoption decision. So organizations may be hesitant to even embrace the technology just because they consider it too complex or challenging. And so that's why it's really important is when you go to make these recommendations, you need to base them off of something. And one of the areas, there's tons of information that you can pull on, but also integrating AI into organizations is there needs to be additional research for all the other academics on this webinar. And so the next stage is trialability. And so trialability is just that. It enables organizations to gain firsthand experience, evaluate outcomes, and address any concerns or challenges before broader adoption. Trialability helps organizations build confidence and reduce the perceived risks associated with AI adoption. So, are we able to try this? And if we try it and we like it, let's go, full steam ahead. And if we like it, but we discover that there's issues, how can we resolve those issues? Or maybe we can't do it, right? And so observability, and that's demonstrating successful AI use cases, sharing best practices, and showcasing tangible benefits that can influence other organizations' perceptions and adoption of AI. The observability of AI success stories and the sharing of lessons learned can accelerate the diffusion of innovation process. So you want to be assessing all of these characteristics because they help organizations evaluate the benefits and compatibility with existing systems and complexity. And so ultimately, it is all of these things that influence the decision to adopt an innovation, or in our case, AI. So this is one of my my favorite topics as it relates to the diffusion of innovation theory. And so we know that adoption of a new idea, behavior, or product, it doesn't happen. As soon as someone mentions something to you, it's not likely that everyone goes, okay, yes, I want it, right? And so we know it doesn't happen simultaneously in the social system. It's a process where some people adopt now, some people adopt later. And so researchers have found that people who adopt an innovation early have different characteristics than people who adopt an innovation later. So when promoting an innovation to a target population, it's important to understand the characteristics of the target population that's going to help or hinder your innovation. So there's 5 adopter categories, and I just want to go through these sort of quickly. I'll just give you sort of brief examples. And so the innovators, they're willing to try new AI applications, even if they're not fully developed or proven. They're going to play a critical role in testing and providing feedback when you bring this solution to your organization. And there are just those people that are just going to be like, tell me about it. I want to hear more. Let me see how it works. I had a meeting with someone the other day, and I said, well, have you used ChatGPT? And she said, no. And I said, well, do you know how it can work for you? And she said, no. I said, well, let me show you a few things. And I said, give me, she's an executive. I said, give me some topics that you struggle with. And I commenced to showing her, how she can create scenarios for training, how she can create responses for her customer service team. And then I tied them all together and created, a 20-minute, training session for her weekly staff meeting. And she thought, oh my God, it takes me a week to develop all of this for my team. And here you have it. I said, well, you can't just take it out the box, but you can use this to work through. And so a lot of people don't know. And so when you show them and you give them the information, you'll be able to, progress further. Let's see. Oops. There does not look like it won't let me enlarge it on the screen. I see some questions, and I am going to get to them in the next couple of slides. But I cannot, unfortunately, I'm sorry, enlarge the screen. And so the next phase is the early adopters. And so early adopters closely monitor technology trends and are eager to embrace AI to gain a competitive advantage. They're willing to take calculated risk and invest in resources to implement those AI solutions. The early majority, they observe the experiences of um, of the earlier adopters and seek evidence of the benefits and feasibility of AI applications. The early majority adopts AI technologies once they perceive a clear value proposition and evidence of successful implementation. So you've got to be successful for them to even get on board with you. And then we've got the late majority. The late majority may, right? Keyword here is may adopt AI due to market pressure or competitive necessity rather than their intrinsic motivation. Those are the people that you have AI, and even though they need to write an email, they're not they're going to write the email. They're going to spend the time writing the email versus using the AI to do it, even though it's quicker. And the final group are the laggards. And so they may be skeptical of the benefits of AI, and they find it challenging to adopt to new technologies. So the laggards tend to rely on traditional methods, and they eventually may adopt AI reluctantly, but only when it's absolutely necessary. Okay. So I think there was, I'm just going to take a moment and see if it's good to know that I can use ID. And so, okay. And so, it is important. I love everyone. They're like, yes, this is so important. How do we do this, right? So the recommendations for facilitating AI adoption. This next section, again, content heavy, but what I've tried to do here is give you pointed examples. And so I'm going to try to make sure I don't miss any questions specific to these slides that I'm going through, and I can answer if possible. Otherwise, I will answer at the end. And so these are the change agent contacts. Now, the majority of people in the session said that they're change agents. So what this slide says is, given the descriptors that I just provided to you, how often are you communicating with those people? So, how many people have training sessions with their SMEs, with their leadership? In higher ed, we call them lunch and learns. How often are you meeting with people that you work with when it's not a specific task related? Or maybe it is, but you're introducing them to something new and you're doing it in a strategic way. So are you meeting with people? Type 1 in the chat. Too busy to meet with people, just got to keep working too. I like that 1.5. Absolutely. I've been an instructional designer for quite some time, so I understand how that works. It's just like, here, this is my new toy and I want to use it with you. But I don't have time to show you anything besides what we need to do right here. So definitely been there. But really, I'm just giving you guys this information because when we're talking about introducing things into our organization, we really have to be strategic about it. And so I challenge you guys, show up at somebody's door and just spend 5-10 minutes. Hey, I was wondering if we could meet for coffee in the morning. Hey, I wanted to do a coffee chat. Go to your boss. Hey, can I, talk about technologies that are available and do a poll to see if the team would be interested, and just build these conversations. The conversations that you have as a change agent don't have to be always work related, because when you have these conversations, you're building a relationship. And so that is your number one asset, is the relationship building. And so, hey, if you're talking to your innovators, I'm hoping you're going out to lunch if you work on site with that innovator. And if you're not going out to lunch, I hope that, you're having conversations through email or during the day during chat, and you're just talking about and sharing what you're discovering in the field. Okay, so innovators and early adopters. So, with them, you're going to allow for ample experimentation and prototyping. Let's provide individuals and teams with the resources and necessary support to test AI solutions in the real world scenarios. See, this will allow them to investigate the potential benefits and obstacles in person. And so we're going to develop platforms for collaboration and information sharing, right? And so again, you might not be able to, conduct a full lunch and learn. I tell people, when you're working in L&D, you're creating a community of learners. So maybe that's, on the company website, everybody's talking about, ABC. Well, write a blog post. It might not be part of your job, but if you want to be a change agent, you want to be an effective change agent, you want people to view you as a subject matter expert, then you must, put that, do the work, right? And it's not always part of what you get paid for. It's not your job description, but you got to do the work. So we should be establishing communities and forums where innovators and early adopters can connect, share ideas, and learn from one another. This environment will foster innovation and accelerate the process of adoption. So, don't just let them come. We've got to recognize and reward them too for being our innovators and our earlier adopters. And so I can tell you, no matter what I did with my faculty, they said they loved my innovations. They got iPads and lunches and everything else. It was not enough to convince them to do something when I was not there with them. It just wasn't. The ones who were going to do it without the iPad and the lunches and everything else that they were given. But perhaps in corporate, we can try with the incentives and the recognition programs that can motivate employees to implement AI and drive its adoption throughout your organization. So just cultivate a culture that values and recognizes the innovation. And then it leads people to take the lead or leap, if that's the case. And so with the early and late majorities, communication must be plain and effective, just clear. You've got to articulate the advantages of AI in a manner that appeals to the majority. Accentuate how AI can boost productivity, reduce expenses and increase the competitive advantage. Really tell them, this is what it's going to do to address any concerns and misconceptions, and just illustrate the value of AI with concrete examples and success stories. I will tell, I worked with in healthcare for a long time, and ever try to tell someone who thinks they know a lot, or they probably do know a lot, but not what I know, right? Because we're two different areas. I would tell them straight up, don't believe me, because such and such in an article written about this topic said, and also it was confirmed in ABC, research studies. Don't trust me, trust the research. And that's what you're going to really have to do. And then on top of that, you're going to need to create comprehensive training and support programs just to aid the majority through the adoption process. So make sure that you're facilitating the technical aspects of AI adoption and provide seminars and tutorials and resources, right? Because bottom line is, if they can't do it, then you're losing them. If the resources aren't there and the confidence, they're not going to adopt. So just make sure you're sharing the success stories and case studies. And if you can, build those case studies within your organization. Try to find success stories within industries that are closely related to you. Hearing how AI has positively impacted other organizations will instill confidence and encourage adoption within your organization. So the majority is able to visualize the potential, right? And not just because you said so. There will be a time eventually, at least at some organizations and not others, that your word will be enough. But until then, go with the research, and especially when you're dealing with this population. And so we've got the laggards, right? And we all know them, I specialize in e-learning. And so, I was responsible once for implementing e-learning at a company that didn't have it. And then, to make matters worse, they weren't provided additional time to complete tasks, their regular work tasks, but they had to complete my e-learning. And that was a fail on multiple levels. And even through the conversations with leadership, we were eventually able to meet somewhere in the middle, but it still wasn't ideal for me, but I advocated for the employees. And they were definitely laggards. And so we want to create specialized training programs, right? And so we must close the knowledge gap by offering customized training sessions that address laggards' specific requirements and concerns. So you're going to focus on their specific needs and provide hands-on assistance. That means you're going to sit with them. You're going to create the trainings, and you're going to be there to assist them in overcoming their apprehensions and gaining confidence and adopting it. Because the moment that they're left alone, they're going to get scared and automatically reject it. So we're going to encourage the laggards to adopt AI. We're going to give them that personalized guidance and support, because that's going to play a critical role. If you can't do it yourself, you should appoint mentors or support champions who can assist by answering questions and addressing specific concerns. And so, sometimes getting people who have already joined your bandwagon to come forward and support you is going to help. So just remember that you just need to establish trust and transparency and continuous support, and keep the lines of communication open. So actively, respond to their feedback and address any problems or obstacles that they experience, and have patience and be dedicated to their overall success as they are learning to use the innovations. So in the cross-group efforts, we're going to develop complete AI readiness programs. And these are for people that, I saw someone say, we're implementing AI now. Well, great. Because I want to know if you are customizing the training, resources, and support initiatives to each group's specific needs and concerns. And so that means if you are implementing AI on the customer service team and on the IT team, are you customizing their training? There is some cross, training that everyone needs, right? But when they start training for their specific resources, do they feel like it's a one-size-fits-all, or do they feel like it is for their specific needs and concerns? So if you do, that's going to ensure that they can access the tools and knowledge required. And this is essential to create the opportunities for cross-functional collaboration. So you need to establish platforms and initiatives that facilitate that intergroup communication and knowledge exchange. Encourage cross-department collaboration so that individuals from various departments can pool their expertise and perspectives. And leaders and influential people, right, are going to be the ones that do a lot of the influence of the adoption of AI. So you engage your leaders from various groups to promote the adoption of AI and resolve any concerns that they have, respective to their specific teams. And so it is through those various endorsements that you're going to get the support that's going to motivate others to adopt AI and nurture and create an environment where it's nurturing for innovation and openness. And so always continuously monitor and evaluate, right? So when you're implementing it, you know, it's consistent sort of reflection. Go back. What are the lessons learned? So you're always soliciting feedback from the various groups to identify obstacles or difficulties that they're facing during the adoption, and utilize that feedback to improve your strategies, modify your approaches, and provide ongoing support where necessary. And, you know, regular communication and feedback channels. Make sure that you've developed those. Make sure that the people know that they're there. So because you want the process of artificial intelligence to be dynamic and iterative. So you want people to constantly be saying, okay, this is working, this is not working, this is what I need, this is, you know, I don't need this anymore, right? So it's constant. This is innovation. It's evolution, right? And so just keeping that in mind, you're not trying to win the race, right? You're trying to run this marathon, right? And so it is by implementing all these various recommendations that I just went through that, you know, you're going to facilitate collaboration, eliminate silos, right? Nothing great happens in silo, and create an environment that people feel is hospitable, right? And that's going to encourage AI adoption across your organization's various groups. So just remember to have teamwork, be open and receptive to feedback, and that is going to strengthen your respect. Really, it's kind of how I like to think of it as a change agent, right? When people respect you, they listen to you. And so I've charted just a couple of implications for this theory as it relates to AI adoption. So understanding the adopter categories, you want to make sure you do that. So Rogers' theory helps to identify different adopter categories. We went through those. So recognizing those categories can help organizations tailor their AI adoption strategies and their communication approaches to suit the needs and the characteristics of your specific organization. You want to make sure that you're addressing perceived risks. This theory definitely highlights the importance of addressing risk associated with AI. So concerns such as cost, complexity, and a potential impact on job roles and security need to be effectively addressed through education, training, and clear communication to overcome resistance and encourage adoption. You're going to want to foster innovation in early adopters. So innovators and early adopters play a crucial role in driving AI adoption. So organizations facilitate AI adoption among those groups by providing opportunities for experimentation, creating innovation-focused environments, and offering incentives or rewards, and also fostering collaboration and knowledge-sharing platforms, right? So get on your SharePoint sites and create a community, right? And then demonstrating tangible benefits. So show the relative advantage and the benefits of AI adoption to encourage it among the majority. Your organization should emphasize the positive impacts of AI, such as, right, improved efficiency, cost saving, better decision making, and enhanced customer experiences. So real life case studies and success stories can be effective in that process. And the final one, the customer adoption strategies. Different groups may have varying needs. So we're going to want to tailor our adoption strategies and resources to address specific groups within our organization. And that's going to facilitate examples. So like I said, we're going to provide comprehensive training programs for those with limited technical knowledge and offer support channels for addressing those concerns so that you can increase your adoption rates. We have about 4 minutes, and I want to check to see, didn't mean to bring that up, if we have any more questions that I may have missed, and I will answer them in this next few minutes. Well, you're going to have to you're going to have to figure out what's in it for me. I think reach out to me. On LinkedIn. I'd be happy to kind of go through what the specific case, Dr. Mickler, but it really is. Some people are just going to be laggards. They're going to be resistant, and there's really nothing you can do about it. But this doesn't sound nice, but it's true. Everyone has their price, right? Everyone has their need, and so what sometimes what it is about is building that relationship. And I think that is really the way that I've gotten people who don't want to do something to do it. I become their best friend. I'm like, hi, Dr. Such and Such, do you want to go to lunch? I know you don't. I know you do not like AI. But I just want to talk to you generally about what my role is. And I want to see how what you do and what I do can mesh more seamlessly. And so forget that you're trying. I mean, kind of don't forget, but put it in the back of your mind that I want them to work on this program right now, and I've got a deadline. But say, meet them where they at. Bring them the lunch and let them eat and enjoy, and then say, I've got an idea. I have a way of fixing their problem. And so that is really, how it's done. But no, some people are just going to be resistant. And so, I'd love to talk to anybody who else has any questions. You're definitely welcome to link with me on LinkedIn or through my website. I enjoyed presenting on one of my all-time favorite theories, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the seminar. And on Monday, you will receive a survey. Please, please, please give the Learning Exchange your feedback, and 2 people randomly will be selected to receive a $50 gift certificate. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.